Olivia is a fine arts major.
Yes, fine arts and illustration with a focus on painting.
Okay. Painting. When did you first realize you wanted to be a painter?
I guess I started realizing I wanted to be a painter when I guess I started drawing a lot and doing different kinds of mediums in high school. And I did a lot of competitions and stuff in high school, starting, very early, about 15 years old. And, a lot of people started asking me, well, what do you want to do with the rest of your life? And I'd say, I want to be a painter. So a lot of people were very concerned about that career goal, because it's not an easy path. It's been very chalk pastel work for a really long time. And then I gravitated into painting more. I dallied with gouache and oil paints and watercolors and settled into acrylic paints because I just love, the colors are great and the control, and if you know how to work with the medium, you can really get a lot of wonderful effects from it. So, and it can look just as rich and, vibrant, I think, as oils can look. And a lot of people ask me, are my paintings oil? And I think I get the influence because I did work with oils for a couple of years before I switched to acrylics.
Okay. If you could describe in a sentence what type of art yours is, what might that sentence sound like?
Well, I guess I always say my work is a fusion between vibrant colors, lush colors, figurative line work, organic line work, and rendered objects.
Figurative line work. Tell me more about that.
Okay, figurative line work would be working with the human figure, using that duality with the rendered objects. They sort of play off of each other. There's a lot of metaphor going on there in a lot of my paintings. And basically I do figures in line work only, and I paint them with the brush. I draw them out first, and I always have a model, sometimes myself, sometimes a friend. And once I draw it out first and I transfer it onto the canvas, then I paint the lines. So it's like it's a nice little figure there. And also I do sort of organic line work, I'd call it, because it's just free-flowing line work that kind of gives the whole painting a unity, so to speak.
Nice. If your artwork could speak, what would your artwork say about you?
I would hope that my artwork would say that I'm a really passionate artist, that I really love the work that I do. It's definitely not for personal gain, and it's definitely not because I've ever thought in my head, yes, today is the day I'm going to be a famous artist. It's always been because I love doing it, and I sincerely love doing my artwork. And that is such an essential ingredient to being an artist, because you have to love it. You cannot go into art or painting expecting to become this very rich, successful artist, because so many amazing artists out there struggle every day just to get their paintings out there in restaurants or smaller venues.
What do you look for in an artist or in artwork?
It's funny because I've dabbled in so many different mediums. I really appreciate all types of work. I can see the passion in a painting. If the painting is passionless, that's what I kind of look down upon. That's what I frown upon. Even if a painting doesn't maybe excel necessarily in technique skills, or, like, if the passion is there and there is a drive behind it, there is a force, that is the kind of work that I think I really respect, and the kind of work that I want on my walls for sure.
How do you, I'm assuming in New York, it's kind of a rat race in regards to...
Completely, as you know now.
Right, whole other planet here, for sure. How do you handle rejection or creative criticism?
I've had my work reviewed by some very top professional people, and they have all given me very solid advice. I actually spoke not too long ago with a gentleman at Monk Dog's Gallery, and he said your painting is some of your very strong quality in your work. But don't, lose your sense of self, and basically, maybe focus more on my painting skills, which is something that I've really started bringing into my work.
Or whom has been an influence or an inspiration for you in regards to creating?
Has been such an inspiration in my life. She's a very creative soul. She does a lot of sewing, she did a lot of painting growing up. She actually is a great painter. She doesn't do painting anymore, but she did a lot of it growing up. She still does a lot of sewing and creative work in that way. She really has an eye for interior design. She's very musically inclined, and just having that kind of being around me growing up really gave a large impact on me, and she always encouraged my art. I started taking kick pottery classes when I was 7 years old, and I learned how to do kick pottery at 7 years old, and jewelry making by the time I was 10. So, she just really instilled the creative juices in me, and even in high school and middle school, she paid for all of my art supplies, and really supported me in that way. She knew I was very serious about it, and really encouraged it, and has never discouraged me from being an artist. So
I'd have to say she made a wise investment decision.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, and my dad too. I think they've both been just my greatest supporters. My dad thinks, he tells me all the time that he thinks what I'm doing is just so great, whether I fall on my face or not. He just thinks what I'm doing is great, and taking chances and doing what I love. And, it's funny, a long time ago when I was in my teen years, I used to babysit, which I still do as, my full-time job right now. I'm a part-time, full-time nanny. And but the people I worked for back then, they were also very creative. But their day jobs, they were not creative jobs. And they actually told me one time, it's amazing that you'll always get to do this thing that you love.
Talk to me a little bit more about the human condition in your artwork.
Yeah, it's funny. Some people say, what is your work trying to say? My work is definitely talking about people and their relationship with other people, their relationship with themselves, and their relationship with their environment. As with my Katrina paintings, it is about natural disasters and how that is affecting these people. I did that series with the Katrina painting and the Wilma painting, which were both hurricanes that devastated a couple of areas of land and homes and people. And it was about sort of not just the destruction of the people's lives, but the culture within those lives. And with this current painting that I'm working on, this fish is supposed to be about making your niche in the world and being that person that's going to swim against, I guess, the current force that the world is turning. And so all these fish, and they're going to continue going around actually, and it's just this one fish going in the opposite direction. And it's so important for me to say to people that one voice can make a difference, and just doing that one little thing can really go against the grain and can really make all the difference in the world.
You've told me lots of stories. Olivia's a great storyteller. You told me at a very young age you knew this and believed in making a difference for people. Fourth grade. Tell me about fourth grade.
Fourth grade was interesting. We did an outreach program for a facility that helped homeless mothers with children, homeless single mothers. And all the kids in my fourth grade class had sort of a charity run of toys and books and, products and things for the children to play with. And we went to this facility, and it was all these little kids, 2-3 years old, some as old as 5, some as old as, even us, even our age,
Wow.
And that was really an eye-opener for me. And I'll never forget going home and crying about it and just feeling so heartbroken for these people who had so much less than I did. And it was like at that moment I knew, you know, everybody should be treated equal. That everybody should have a fair chance. And that giving just a little something really makes that person's day or that person's week or a month. And they don't forget that. They'll always remember that. And yeah, so that's how it just really changed the way I looked at the world.